Hi, I'm VanDusen, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to win design critiques. As designers, we all get critiqued, right? Our designs get changed, our design little babies get killed. Problem is, how do we win a critique? How do you get your work approved and not changed by the client? Successful design is strategic design. Design solves a problem. A design is done for a target audience. Design is meant to communicate effectively to that audience, for them to take some sort of action. Your job as a designer is to get the most effective design approved. There are two kinds of critical comments that happen in a critique: objective comments and subjective comments. Subjective comments are really about opinions. Objective comments are about facts. So let's talk a little bit about subjective comments. So everyone has an opinion, right? As a designer, you have opinions about your likes and your dislikes. You like this color, you like this font, you like this illustration style. But from a client's point of view, no one cares what you like, and you have to accept that. What a client cares about is what is going to perform for the customer. Clients also have likes and dislikes, personal, subjective likes and dislikes. And those aren't important either. And we know the client is not always right. But what is right are decisions that are made that are going to affect how the customer consumer reacts to the design. And you are the specialist in strategic design. And it's up to you to educate your client as to why you made the decisions that you made in the design process and what effect those decisions have on the end consumer. So let's talk about objective criticism. What is objective criticism? Objective criticism is not about likes or dislikes. Your likes, what the client dislikes, it's about facts. Clients love proof and certainty. So you want to talk about your work in terms of the customer. Who is the customer? What is it that they want? What would they like? What would they expect? Talk about it in terms of aesthetics, in terms of what's culturally appropriate, what's stylistically appropriate for that customer, how they would want to be communicated to, and the choices that you made in design, what they communicate. You want to use, whenever possible, metrics, so numbers or percentages, and you also want to use and link your discussion and your criteria back to behaviors of the customer. So how do you talk about your work objectively? Let's start with the aesthetics. So there's color, shape, illustration, photography, style. You want to align and talk about your decisions and what you chose to do on those things and relate them back to the product, service, or category for what the design is for. So, for instance, sports. Sports is bright, it's bold, it's energized. So aspects of your design you might want to speak about the aesthetics in terms of those sort of adjectives. Let's say yoga. So yoga is calm, quiet, passive, it's smooth. You want to talk about color choices you made, design choices, shape choices in terms of those adjectives and how they relate back to that customer and to that category of business. Or for instance, travel. Travel is adventurous, it's wild, it's curious, it's about movement. So when you talk about your work, you would want to use those sorts of adjectives in describing the decisions that you made aesthetically. You also want to talk about your work in terms of cultural considerations. So, for instance, yoga. A person who's involved in yoga culturally might be into self-care and healthy eating. You want to talk about your work and align it with the culture of the customer. You also want to align it with the emotions of that customer. So what's the desired emotion that you want to get across with the work? Is it soft? Is it aggressive? Is it lively? Is it quiet? Talk about how that comes across. You also want to use the visual language of a category. So if there is a particular color palette or a particular or font or energy or photo style that's used in a particular category, you want to make sure that you align it with that. Let's take music, for instance. So what if the music was classical? What if the music was hip hop? What if the music was rock and roll? Each one of those things would have a different stylistic and aesthetic consideration. So how do you win a critique? You win a critique by framing your presentation and your arguments around objective decisions that you made in your design process. And you want to make sure you prepare for the critique and prepared to educate the client about those things, why you did things. Put them all through the customer lens or the category lens. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit subscribe below so you can see my videos when they come out. And in the description is a link to join my newsletter. It's called Brand Muse, and it comes out every 2 weeks. I share an insight, trends, resources, and articles on graphic design and entrepreneurship. And with that, thanks again for watching. Bye for now.